Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
Choice Hotels get you more of what you value. Comfort Inn, it's calling your name. Save on the stay. Oh, and free waffles are yours to claim. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
All right, welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass Podcast, Kevin and Chuck. Today, well, we're going to talk about World War III, right? A lot going on in the Middle East, but it's even more than that, I think. I think there's a little more going on, and I kind of wanted to dig into it. Kevin, you have any immediate thoughts you need to get off your chest?
Well, yeah, I mean,
like you were going to say something.
There are a lot of standards, like standard conflicts that are going on that we all talk about, right? You know, the China, Taiwan, Russia, Ukraine, you know, North Korea, South Korea. But there's a lot of other stuff going on. A lot of civil wars getting ready to start. Haiti is on the edge of civil war. Pakistan is on the edge of civil war. The Democratic Republic of Congo is not a great place to be right now.
Really, was the Democratic Republic of Congo ever a great place to be?
No, but interesting fact about the Democratic Republic of Congo, largest average penis size in the world.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Did you learn that from Joe Rogan? I feel like
it's self-reported though, so I don't know. A little bit sketchy on that one.
I did see a video on YouTube, and they took like a ruler, and they were like, "Oh, this many," and then they were like, "Yeah," and they were showing the opposite end, like from 12 to whatever. They were like, "Look, 8 inches."
8 inches.
Like, wait a minute. So I'm just saying that can be a little suspicious.
Yeah, but there's a lot of conflicts that are like boiling, not really popping off just yet, but really starting to heat up. Okay. And a lot of places in the world that we don't think of as being like, when's the last time you've been to Ethiopia? Right. But that's not a great place right now. Israel versus Palestine. Yemen's getting involved now. They just declared war on Israel, so that's great.
So Yemen's, it is escalating.
Yeah, Yemen is had its own civil war going on for a long time. I had a friend that is from Yemen, and he said that both the armies that are fighting for control are full of a bunch of greedy assholes. It's not like one's a good guy and one's a bad guy.
Like Ukraine.
Kind of like Ukraine.
Or kind of like America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
A bunch of greedy assholes fighting for control. Right. None of them are really the good guys.
Right. All right. That tracks. Mm. So yeah. Well, here's the thing. Here's what kind of concerns me. And the U.S. is sending aircraft carriers over to the region. I guess we already have, right? But Mao Zedong, in Mao tactics, he encouraged countries to attack U.S. allies. Was always kind of his go-to move.
Like the proxy war game.
We're kind of spread too thin, and that's kind of what I feel like we're seeing playing out here, right? I'm seeing Ukraine and Russia, right? That's all getting into a big mess. And
we don't have any soldiers there, but that there's got to be a lot of special operations people in the country, whether they're doing anything or not.
Or training or whatever. But even beyond that, it spreads our resources, right?
Right.
Obviously Ukraine is going to pay us back because, that's how things work, right? They're going to just write us a check, I think.
Yeah, 90% of that money that's going to Ukraine is going into some dude's
I'm actually waiting
pocket.
for a check in the mail, and I go out and check like every week, and it's been about 6 months, and I haven't seen anything.
You haven't gotten anything yet.
And I haven't gotten anything. I feel like this is kind of like that Ukraine check, where they're like, don't worry, they're going to pay us back. Don't even, nope. And like one of the things, so like we sent a bunch of Stinger rockets. I think we talked about this, and they were like $80 when we bought them. And now they're like $500,000. So we're like, look, we're going to give them to Ukraine for $80 a piece, and we're going to replace them for $500,000 on our end.
Right. Fair.
And you're like, wait, no, because we're giving them to them now. We're not giving them to them when they were $80.
Right.
They didn't ask for them then. I mean, that's like being like, hey, I had a bunch of gold that I got like in 1920, and it was like a $5 piece.
Yeah.
So, I only paid $5 for it. So if you could just give me $5 and then I'll just buy another one when I go back into town.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't work out that way. It's fine.
That's basically the game that we're playing. Ukraine. Sorry, I don't know why that enrages the shit out of me that we're so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, because obviously the politicians, well, I believe some of the politicians are that stupid, but they also are just getting over on us because they're like, they're really dumb. They won't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then they laugh like that, like they're stoned, kind of like Fast Times at Ridgemont High. You guys probably are too young to remember that.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone remembers that anymore.
Jeff Spicoli.
Spicoli, order a pizza in the middle of class. Come on. Get your life together, Spicoli.
It doesn't even make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so bottom line, we got Ukraine, China, right? Bam. Tons of money, tons of resources sent over there. I got to say, one of the things that we're really figuring out, though, is, sending tanks into battle isn't really worth a shit anymore because everybody's got drones and sees that slow shit coming. And they're like, we're going to put some artillery right there. Yeah. And fucking, dude. And that's the thing, like with guided weapons and shit, we're just like, oh, yeah, we'll take that one. It's
exactly. It's not like, we'll shoot 5 over at this tank and maybe one will hit it. Nah, it's not. Because you pick out the first one and the last one and then work on the middle.
We figured out the ground war thing and fighting individuals, hand-to-hand combat and breaching doors and going in. We mastered that over in Iraq and Afghanistan. No problem, right? But now when we're fighting people who actually have like computers and shit, totally different.
Different game altogether.
They have drones and guided things, and there's none of that. Oh, I'll hide in a cave till he drives by. None of that shit anymore. Now it's like, oh, look, I can see them getting ready at their base as I watch from our satellite. Yeah. And look, they're pulling it out. Here it comes. Oh, now. And then, they just take it out. So it's definitely been a wake-up call. And I think people really didn't plan for that. I'm sure there was a couple of guys like over at West Point or something who were like, look, this is going to be all different than what you think.
Right.
And they're like, oh, we've been fighting wars. Don't even worry about it. Sit down and shut up. You don't know. I've been doing this for 100 years. And it reminds
me of the generals during World War I, where they're convinced cavalry is like, that's the definitive thing.
Horse, like nothing.
Right. And hundreds of guys would charge machine guns on horses and they'd all be dead.
Work out. Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly like the best analogy is. It's like, oh, I'm just going to run at them because I have more heart than they do. But they have machine guns and you're not Audie Murphy. It's not, I mean, Audie Murphy can dodge the bullets, but not everybody like that anymore,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got that Neo in the Matrix type thing going on. He was fine. I don't know if I can do the same thing that he can though.
Right. So bottom line, so we got all that going on in Ukraine. Now, obviously, huge stuff going on in Israel and Gaza Strip there.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have soldiers in Iraq keep getting attacked by Iranians. And we're like,
yes,
so sure that they're Iranian, military or sponsored people attacking us. And yet we're like, well, they're not.
We'll wait till they attack us before we fight.
Not really us. And you know what? So they got to send over. And then even if, God forbid they did do something on American soil, it would be like, well, yeah, but that was a couple of rogue guys. They weren't carrying their government military ID.
They didn't have their IDs on them.
I can't be sure. We did track them coming in on the shipping container, but
from Iran.
I don't know. I don't know. So I feel like that's a big thing. So bottom line, it comes out where all this stuff, everything is getting tied up. And I feel like China is getting ready to maybe pounce in Taiwan a little bit. Like I feel like they'll wait. I would have thought they'd let this play out a little bit longer and wear us down way more.
Right.
However, they're moving more ships in, getting a little closer in Taiwan. I think they moved 6 new ships in this week, warships that they hadn't had there before. The planes, increased activity, and going in. All that's kind of escalating and building up. So here's how I imagine, because I always hear people talking about, there's no, we would win against China or whatever, there's no comparison. But let me break down how these lines are really going to be drawn. Let's think of it more like China. Now, feel free to yell at me with any of these that I'm wrong. Now, the major players, I see China, I see Russia, I see Iran. I don't know if we're going to call them a major player, but I would definitely say North Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, North Korea, China, Russia, and Iran. We'll go with that. And then the U.S. and NATO is basically what you got. You got U.S. and NATO. So, you're going to say England and, I don't even know. Turkey's not going to really fall on our side on that one.
No, I know that, the UK is very involved and very worried about China.
Right.
So NATO might not be involved in China. That's a, North American or North European thing. But, what countries, maybe France aside of, out of NATO? Poland ain't going to show up in China to help anybody out, Germany, not really into that.
And Ukraine, who's, whatever, not really NATO, they're going to be like, yeah, we want to help. But remember,
we're actually
giving us stuff.
Yeah, we're actually still fighting North Koreans and Iranians over in Ukraine already. So,
yeah, no, it's just going to be a mess. So, and that's the thing. I mean, Russia, you put Russia, China, and North Korea, just those 3. If you put those against U.S. and China, the militaries, you put North Korea, China, and Russia against the U.S. and NATO. We're pretty evenly stacked. It's kind of a fight.
I mean, I don't think of Russia as being a major military power right now. They're kind of sapped. They're kind of sapped for all the resources. All the reserves are called up. Everybody that's able to fight is in Ukraine fighting. But between the United States and Russia, that's 95% of the nuclear weapons in the world. So, I mean, they're still capable of destroying everything if they want to.
Exactly. Putin is not exactly the most stable guy.
Mm-hmm. He seems like he's getting a little bit worse by every time I see him. He's like a little bit more unhinged.
Unlike U.S. leaders. I have to keep pointing this out. Like nobody looks at Trump and is now I understand Trump is not a U.S. leader at the moment, but I just want to be even with my
right with your
Trump
okay,
or
fair.
Biden. Nobody looks at either one and goes, "Now that guy, he's firmly hinged and
That's a
we're
sane,
not gonna have
stable
any
individual.
that's a sane, stable guy." You know,
Yeah.
and yeah, I don't.
Trump calls
understand.
himself a stable genius, but I mean, that word stable is doing a lot of lifting right there, you know?
Yeah, genius. They both kind of fall short.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand you were saying Stable's carrying it, but is it?
right.
That's kind of one of those things. Yeah, Putin can finish a sentence. I think that's
something.
Right,
and that is something.
What is it with America that we can't help but elect these old, like, decrepit people who are so far away from reality that we can't, like, I mean, I see these younger people like Nikki Haley or, and there's got to be some Democrats that are young and coherent. I don't know.
Mhm.
Like I said, we keep going back to Kennedy looking coherent. So it's just bad.
Right.
Kennedy is not better. Like the things he's saying, I like better than what I'm hearing from the other. I mean, I haven't heard anything in the last 3 months or whatever, so don't hold me to it. But the stuff I was hearing him say early on, I was like, yeah, I can get behind that with a lot of, his statements that were very libertarian,
Mhm. Right.
But we're still electing another geriatric if you went that way. It's not, why can't we put a 45-year-old on there? Like,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, that I feel like, I'm getting older than I used to be, right? And I understand, but I feel like you're already starting to go to the decline of technology and information once you kind of get to about 40, 45.
Right.
It's like you're building up and gaining wisdom and knowledge. And then when I get here, I'm like, all right, now I've
I'm starting to go down the other way. Yeah.
Because now I'm just starting to get like grumpy and a distaste for all the younger, more modern stuff. I'm like, I don't think we need any of that.
Right.
And I
right, like the modern version of not being able to program your VCR clock,
Right. I mean, it's the modern version, I mean, I still feel like I can do tech around, in circles around a lot of the younger people I know. But again, that's kind of my job. I'm in the like tech world, right? I deal with, programming and things like that. So, whatever, but yeah, I feel like you kind of peak around 40 or 50 where that perfect balance of still in touch with reality and everything awesome, and then still enough wisdom and experience to kind of go. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like 45 is kind of your prime. Plus, it gives you 15 years of, good government service and whatever that you could really be an effective player and have wisdom. I don't know. How old was Obama? He seemed like he was kind of right at the right age there.
Yeah, he was younger. He's I think he was around 50.
Yeah, and that's livable for me. I mean, I think that's doable. I think once you get into this 80, 70, 90, 100, whatever, 107, where's Biden at? I'm not
everyone, everybody likes to shit on Ronald Reagan now, like years later. But, the fact of the matter is he was a pretty damn good president right up until about a year away from the end of his second term. Like, things started going downhill fast, and I feel like that's happening. Like, we're on the downhill fast portion of, of this current president and of the one that's running against him. Things are going to start going downhill real fast. I mean, they have been. We're already rolling down the. We're already tipping over the edge of the roller coaster with Biden, and Donald Trump has been saying some crazy nonsensical shit lately too. Getting kind of confused about where he's at and which country he's actually talking about. But
I felt like he was doing that when he ran the first time.
That's true.
There was, but no, he's definitely getting a little older. There's definitely something going on there. But all right, so basically got these huge powers that be. I feel like it's really escalating. I mean, there is so much, like you started out in the beginning of the episode, there is so much going on kind of everywhere.
Right.
And I mean, maybe it's the framework that I'm looking at it. Maybe it's because my YouTube feed keeps popping up World War III, over and over again or whatever. I'm sure if you look at, my wife's, it's like, new flower farm ideas and whatever.
Right, right. So it ain't the same algorithm, but
right. But just the same, this does seem like a lot is going on there, and there's a lot of testing and a lot of probing. Now, let's kind of go into like a second phase here. What do you think about nuclear weapons? I mean, obviously, you and I both think that that's a bad idea. Nobody should be using them. But what do you think about the probability of
the
that
probability?
Kind of
I think that it's more. It's as probable as it's been since the end of the Cold War. I think that we had a couple of close calls during the Cold War.
Yeah.
But things are ramping up, and a lot of the people that are in charge of these weapons are getting more and more unhinged. Like I said, that the vast majority is in the United States and Russia, and Putin is not looking great. Biden is not looking great. A lot of these people that have, like Kim Jong-un has not been like the most stable person, always
Really?
making
That's
threats,
shocking.
always getting crazy, And there's a lot of people that have, we just mentioned Pakistan going through a civil war. They have a lot of nukes, man.
Yeah.
A lot of these countries that we think of kind of being backwaters still have massive amounts of these types of weapons.
Right. And that's it. These smaller countries, and there is a lot of crazy out there. I think it's a real possibility. Now, the way I imagine it, right? Now, one, I was telling Kevin before the episode, if we had some kind of budget, I'd love to have the time or a staff who could kind of put together a map of, what players I think would be in a global conflict or whatever. But the best I could come up with, I actually found one from the Sun back in 2021, and they kind of had things, I think, pretty on point for where it goes now. Except you'll note in the map that I found is it's kind of like the U.S. and Israel against everybody else. Which I kind of feel like is how it is.
Yeah.
You know what does concern me? I've been thinking lately that there's a lot of, am I just behind Israel so hard because it's always kind of been ingrained, that the U.S. should be an ally with Israel or whatever. Like, I don't know. I just, it's a mess. I mean, I don't want to be against Israel. Even you look at it biblically throughout the years, it doesn't end well in the long run for you when you're against Israel. How much do we take that into account? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they've made it for about 6,000 years without any total extermination,
Came close a few times, but again, they still came up on the winning side, So it seems like a bad team to bet against. And by that, I definitely wouldn't want to be against Israel. That definitely sounds like a bad play. No, but I mean, how involved we should get, because I have always been adamantly like, hey, it's not our job to fight everybody's war.
Right.
And that kind of is what I mean. I mean, that's where I'm getting at with that, is how involved do we have to be with paying for everybody's freaking problems? I mean, we see that's what's ruined a lot of this younger generation. A lot of the mindset of the young kids is like, oh, well, everybody should be paying for my shit. It should be handled. And then now they just expect things, and we're like, oh, wait, we really don't have money for that.
Yeah, actually, we kind of blew all your budget already.
Like,
You have to pay back $30 trillion, so maybe start working on that first.
And then we'll talk about what we got for you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I guess, why my reservation. I'm not all in for just throwing money at problems.
Right.
But that's all I'm getting at with that. I wasn't implying like, oh, well, I think, the Iranians, they seem pretty smart. Those guys, we get along with them. Hamas and Iran, those guys, that we can get behind that. Yeah, not so much. Maybe AI will use that quote against me in the future, In the
future, yeah. When our Iranian overlords are going house to house, they'll be like, Chuck, we gotta find Chuck. There.
We gotta find him. Have you seen him? The guy with the big beard? It's a lot gray, that one. So bottom line, the way I see it playing out is I don't expect a ground war in either the US or China as a real possibility, at least anytime soon, right? I don't see that playing out. I don't see troops, rolling through. One, because we have 4.8 guns per household or something. I really think that matters.
Yeah, it does matter.
It matters. If everybody's like, I don't like those guys, come down my road. It's like, let's see. And I'm not saying, I'm so cool I can fight an army. No, what I mean is every person you try and stop is shooting back at you. That's what I'm getting at. I'm not, implying. I do think if China goes for Taiwan, yes, those islands and stuff right there, and possibly some little bombing or whatever going on in the coastal cities, going on, ports and stuff like that out of China. I see that as a possibility. Maybe, I don't know. I was going to say maybe something like Norfolk or something. You could get an attack to try and hit the U.S. Atlantic Fleet. But I think even with that, you got to get there. You got to cross this huge amount of water and be undetected. That's really unlikely to me. And, again, I know that, the sentries were kind of questionable when I was in the military, but maybe they're a little more observant now. I know on the home soil that things tend to get a little lax,
a little lazy.
I know we're afraid to let people have guns with bullets.
Yeah,
I remember some kind of attack. Wasn't there some kind of crazy, I hate to say it, Muslim guy in South Carolina
I don't remember where that was. Where he just was running around with a gun and nobody around to stop him
or whatever.
Yeah. And then the police showed up. It was the police that stopped them.
The police in town were like, "Hey, you guys just rest. Go back to the barracks. Everybody sit down." I don't know. I should have better information, but I don't know. That vaguely comes to mind as far as our state of readiness. I'm just being realistic. Now, but like I said, guided weapons and stuff, they can reach out and touch somebody. There are things they can do. And the big thing, people think of nuclear weapons, they think of annihilating a country. And yes, when you send over 9 giant, ICBMs with nukes, you can take out a country and make it kind of a wasteland. That's true. We remember war games and all those, you see everything shooting up everywhere. And you could devastate something, but a nuclear war doesn't have to be that. A nuclear weapon can, when people respond, it has to be that.
Right.
But I'm saying somebody can shoot a missile that just kind of takes out a city or maybe a giant Navy base.
Yeah.
And I mean, the
or
city
in a cargo box on a ship pulling into port,
right.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a country ender, but obviously then people retaliate and then other people retaliate and it becomes a big mess. But I mean, those things I think are possibilities, very unlikely to me. But I think it could escalate to that when people feel desperate. And that's what I'm afraid of. I mean, people are like, oh, well, that nobody did ever do anything that horrible. Well, do you remember Hitler and what he was willing to do?
Well, let's talk about that real quick. So
Go ahead.
So what is the preparation here? What are we getting ready for? What's our game plan? I mean, that's really the big deal. If nuclear war does break out, remember what you learned in school. Get underneath your desk and cover your head. You'll be all right. You'll be okay. Right. No, seriously though, if that does happen, first thing you're gonna want to do is get inside, find shelter. Right, the bombs are coming. You're worried about it. Get in your bunker. Get in your basement. Get surrounded by concrete. Get underground level. All the best stuff to do. You don't want to be trapped outside during radiation storms and stuff like that. Even after it goes off, you're going to want to stay indoors for 3 or 4 days. Let that radiation wear off a little bit. You know what I mean?
I like it. Now,
what do you got in your house though? 4 days, not going out to the grocery store. Do you have enough supplies? So,
and you do want to maybe have, like, if you were worried about nuclear attack, you would want like some rolls of plastic sheeting. If you took a stapler and put plastic all where you think air is coming in and out of your house, your windows, your doorways, whatever. And you want to stay in a section that, like you said, like a basement or something, that the walls are not going to have radioactive dust laying on the outside and you're right next to it. And again, a wall that's a foot thick wood is going to be better than laying against the window. Think about things like that. And you can actually put stuff between you and the wall, which is going to stop that radiation stuff.
Right.
That would last for, again, really every 24 hours is kind of like the half-life on that stuff typically. So every day you're that much better than the day before.
Right.
But like you said, you're kind of looking at like 4 to 7 days, but you do what you can do. Then, and again, I mean, so many things are a factor. Does it rain? Are you downwind? Does any of that stuff, it all comes into play. What else you got right there? And then I have kind of some things you might want to prepare for war otherwise.
All right. So
didn't want to shift it without.
Yeah, you were outside. You came inside after everything went to hell. You want to get rid of your clothes. Take everything off that can be contaminated. Take a shower as soon as you can. You want to clean yourself off, clean all that shit, because you can actually wash. It's not radiation; it's radioactive dust that you have to worry about.
Radioactive particles that are emitting, rays of radiation. Right, like getting an X-ray, it's just constantly pulsing out. So we used to, on the ship, we'd do a freshwater wash down, and they would spray everything with clean water and basically rinse it off, into the ocean, and then we're all good now. Because, all the nuclear exposure.
It's out there. Fish got to deal with that. That's dolphins' problem now. Yeah.
Exactly.
So you want to get your pets cleaned up if they were outdoors. Clean them off. Spray down your dogs with the hose. Whatever you got to do.
Right. And that's why, like, they talk about, your little, like, cover-all plastic white suit when you go outside. The little, whatever. I don't
tie-back,
know,
right?
Suit, right? Tie-back. That's what I'm thinking of. So the idea is, it's not that suit is protecting radiation from getting at you. What it is it's letting the particles set on the suit so you can take it off, and then they're away from you after. That's the idea. If you run out right after it was bad, that stuff is getting on you. And for like $50, I think you can get like a Geiger counter. It'd be pretty cool.
Really? I didn't know it was that cheap. Yeah?
I looked into it on Amazon. Yeah, there's a bunch of different, people are like, I think you only have like a 4 or 5 year shelf life of actually like good for the, the $40, $50 digital modern version.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an old, antique type analog thing that probably lasts forever. Who knows? If you left the wife's dog outside, that's bad.
Yeah. No. All right. So food and water. You can eat, and drink water, eat food that's indoors in your house.
Right.
But this is not the situation where you can go out and like scoop water out of the local pond or your swimming pool and use that as drinking water. You don't want to have anything that's not covered outdoors moving indoors.
No, the stuff that's in your the pipes coming from the water plant, probably okay for the short term.
Right.
Immediate, the stuff that's actively in the pipes. Now, the big
underground, that's probably safer than anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Safer than anything else. But
and your stuff out of the well, again, short term, it's going to be good because it's all underground and filtered and nothing's getting to it. Now, obviously, time, it's going to get worse. And that's the thing, like nuclear winter, somebody mentioned, you have particles, stuff in the air, stuff dying. It just really could be bad.
Blocks out the sun, gets cold. Things aren't going to grow as well. I'll tell you. Yeah. It's about 15 years. Like a massive nuclear exchange. Nuclear winter is about 15 years. So unless you have 15 years worth of supplies, that's one of the things you kind of want to
think about.
Hope against. Yeah.
I believe the Bible talks about what are the timelines? I think it's like 6 months with no water, where all the water goes bitter when the star comes. And I mean, there's things that you got to kind of plan for, that it's not going to be good.
6 months of water is very hard to store inside your house, you know?
Yeah. And you're like, oh, well, I have a well, so I can get 6 months. But no, it doesn't really work that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on. So there's a lot of, I don't know. Sorry, I keep feeling like I'm cutting you off. But what do you?
Well, the only other thing I got is if you are sick or injured, good luck, dude.
Yeah, over.
That's what FEMA says.
Okay.
If you're sick or injured, stay in your house and wait for information.
Yeah.
So
like the information.
You're kind of on your own.
I'll put the little symbols on the door. They put the little plus sign or whatever. And
you were trying to get home and you were in a car accident, broke your leg, and still managed to get back to your house. Yeah, you're fucked. Yeah.
So basically, things I looked at, I actually went to AI for some insight for things that would happen if we had a global conflict. And I actually put in the players, and it didn't seem as specific as I wanted it to be. I wasn't impressed. But bottom line, things that we need to think about with a world war would be global economic disruption, right? Basically stock markets, all that stuff, your retirement, very, volatile at minimum. Energy prices are going to go up. All right. It's going to be, Russia and Iran are huge oil producers. Now, mind you, China is buying most of Iranian oil, even though there's sanctions there. So we're not, in theory, buying Iranian oil. I'm sure there's some that
there's some that's really, showing up.
So that's definitely a possibility, right? That oil and that kind of stuff could go up. Supply chain disruptions. One, they need to kind of redirect our supply chains to be supporting the military and things like that. And two, stuff, won't come back to us, as easily. And also, if you call up a bunch of active people working, we're not, producing here.
Right. Then they're not doing what,
Turns out some of our enemies might be people who make shit. I don't know if you've ever been to Walmart, or Tractor Supply or the Harley Davidson store.
Or any place in this country.
But it turns out some of the things that we use, eat, and get every day come from countries that we're not exactly besties with. Now, obviously, there's a huge impact on the technology sector, right? So you have a lot going on there where you remember the whole chip shortage? That's going to come back. The value of the US dollar. Turns out our currency, but
it's not really based on anything.
It's not based
on anything. It's worth what you say it's worth.
That's a whole other mess. But I won't even touch on that one, because actually wars kind of make things go a little better in my experience, as far as,
economically,
jobs and spending, because the government starts spending like crazy.
Right.
It's just when, the inflation hits from it behind it, that, you get kind of screwed. But that's a whole other issue. Now, agriculture. Turns out our exports are going to be messed up. Shipping lanes, geopolitical, all that stuff. The farmers might face challenges. Like, turns out we get all the fertilizer from other countries, which doesn't make any sense to me, but that's a thing. Inflation, that's going to be an issue. Public confidence and consumer behavior. People might start hoarding stuff. And then, it's just, it's just a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Now, next thing. So what can you do, right? So emergency supplies, stock up on anything that you get that's imported is that you feel is essential. The bottom line,
Right.
You want to stock up on essentials, things you use every day, but batteries, your prepper things. If you use it like a multi-tool, don't buy a multi-tool if you work in an office and you're never going to do it. That's just stupid. It's not even going to help you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not the capable guy, that's
if you don't know what you're doing, don't buy tools you don't know how to use.
Yeah, you're better off just buying an extra sandwich or something. It's. I would think of self-defense and security, because not only do you have the possible long shot threat of invading forces, depending where you are, you do have people who become desperate, and when people become desperate, they steal shit. Turns out. You might want to consider emergency shelter stuff and some of the supplies we talked about. Duct tape and plastic are a big thing. The plastic sheeting and maybe a stapler might be good for, covering stuff up. Just something to think about. Water storage containers might be another thing. But medical supplies, you guys remember when COVID hit, what kind of things, went off the shelves.
Right.
And basically communication stuff, community involvement, those things are going to help you. They're going to, help you stand out and, get in touch with what's going on around you. Being informed and actually having factual information. I don't know where you find that.
Factual information. Yeah. Good luck. Right.
I don't know, but I would say having some kind of like ham radio or something like that where you can get outside information might be a plus. Besides the traditional news sources.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. As stupid as it sounds, having, Facebook, having Instagram, Twitter, all that sort of stuff might be your best option for news when things go downhill fast. When the cable goes out and when the power goes out and you only have your mobile phone, that might be the best place to be finding information, at least short term.
Yeah. No, I'd have to agree with that. But yeah, that's it. So is it a possibility? Yeah, I would say definitely it's kind of escalating. Some people would even argue we're kind of already in a world war. Maybe not us as America, but we're always kind of a late starter into a world war.
Yeah, we always kind of go to. Yeah, let's see who's going to win first, and then we'll join in.
Let's be careful before we pick sides and see where the money's really going to go.
Mm-hmm.
But we definitely, as far as our military industrial complex, we're getting involved. We're starting to build things. We're starting to move things.
Yeah, all over the place.
Yeah. So anyway, you guys, appreciate all the comments. Again, if you could like and subscribe to the channel, that's huge for us. Turns out Facebook or YouTube and Facebook don't like anything we have to say pretty much. We're exactly the opposite of the information that they shared. Because what do we mention that jab people get in the arm? We say it by name all the time. We talk about guns all the time. You know how it is. We talk about all these different things that everybody else in the world apparently finds offensive. The things that we enjoy every day. Who knows? Yeah. I enjoy not getting jabbed, and you get the idea, right?
Yeah.
So if you could share and and tell your friends about the podcast, that would really help and, keep things going in the right direction for us. Maybe increase the budget where we don't have to steal maps off 5-year-old websites and things like
Right.
that. You know, that kind of thing. But we do appreciate all you guys do out there. And, you know, hey, as the holidays are coming up, maybe you want to hit the preppingbadass.com and go up to gear and see if you need a new sweatshirt, maybe a new mug for that special lady you have. maybe your husband loves the podcast. Anyway, I would say with that, you guys, I appreciate you being here. And with that, stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.